ball sent cross. Yeah! Thank you! It's a sort of dream! Dream fun! Live it up, blue boy! Live it up!
Hey, we're Joey and Mulv. This is Noisy Neighbors, I guess. I don't know. So some news happened. Mulv, are you feeling the way I'm feeling? I'm guessing.
Devastated, mate.
Yeah, this is AIDS.
This is a gut punch.
Yeah.
This is a knife right in the back. It's many knives in many parts of my body.
Yeah, it's one of the few times in my life that I've felt numb and also physically ill.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And then each piece of breaking news that comes out, it's like another knife or another shot in the chest. It's just
The chat is popping, mate.
Yeah.
People are not having this one iota. Yeah. I mean, look at City Extra jumping in. Rest in peace, football as we know it. I feel you, lads. I feel you. And we're on the bad side for real now. You know, like it's gone too far. We've crossed the threshold where, you know, we'll never live it down. That Manchester City was one of these 12 clubs that wanted to do this. Like that's it. I mean, even if it doesn't materialize, you know, we were in on it. You know, we condemned the nasty nine or whatever you call it that wrote to UEFA to try to get City banned from the Champions League, and we'll never forget that they did that.
Yeah.
It's going to stick with this club for the rest of our lives, and now I'm sick.
Yeah, like part of me hopes, this is all just like a storm at the beginning, and like some cool stuff will come out of this, and maybe it won't be as wild and crazy as it sounds, but then you get, we just keep getting this stuff that, this club has left the ECA and that club has left the ECA. Like, so like, are we all just out of the Champions League now? Like, is it just getting handed to PSG? Is it just getting handed to PSG?
Bravo to the guys making bold moves. I mean, I'm a little bit confused because I see UEFA and the clubs that are involved here as much of a muchness. Ourselves accepted, is it like we don't have any representation at UEFA, but all these other clubs pretty much have. So I don't know who the real bad guy is anymore. But I know this is bad. I know that creating a league that you can't get relegated from, so that you can.
Not only that, but it's a league that no one wants.
Yeah,
no one that you're trying to make all of this money off of wants this.
Right.
I can't think of. I'll ask you this. I'll ask the chat this. Fucking anyone that wants to answer it. Do you remember any time in anything related to this sport that everyone was in 100% agreement across all of all social media, all of the sports channels, every fan channel, everyone agrees on this, that this is dog shit?
Yeah.
It's like, does anyone remember,
if you're out there,
something like this? Yeah.
Let us know in the chat. Let us know that this is why this is a good idea in the chat, or why it's not that big a deal. For me, I've been defending Manchester City to our rivals, or other clubs and fans for a decade. And what we've just gone in on is the thing that I've been complaining about for those 10 years and more, is a small group of clubs creating leagues and awarding themselves the prize money.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. And it's elitist and against the nature of the football pyramid in Europe. The David and Goliath stories, or whatever you want to call it, the dreams of clubs climbing the leagues, to get rewarded. You can't anymore because you're not part of you're not one of these founding clubs. You'll never breach that top level. And all these clubs are going to hoard all the money in football, and you're screwed basically. So, man, it's
I don't know, just kind of the more, again, it's very raw right now, and we don't know, no one knows all the facts. Everything we know right now is just the stuff that it seems like on the surface. On the surface, it seems like 12 clubs that have both been for and against this sort of thing throughout the years. You've got some clubs in there that were very anti this sort of thing for a long time. Some clubs that were very for this sort of thing for a long time. Well, they've all banded together and they've decided to, at least they've decided to leave kind of the UEFA model. At least.
It strikes me as
what that says for like domestic leagues, we don't know yet. It's all just, we're all assuming things.
Okay, I've got City's statement here. Let me read City's statement to everybody because some of this becomes clear, like how they're envisaging what this looks like. To me, that they're acting like this is just an additional incremental league that they're going to try to pull off midweek. But I'm going to read this to you. Manchester City is one of 12 European football clubs which have come together to announce today that they've established a new midweek competition, the Super League, governed by its founding clubs.
Yeah, doesn't sound nice.
AC Milan, Arsenal, Atletico de Madrid, Chelsea, Barcelona, Inter, Juventus, Liverpool, Man City, Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Tottenham Hotspur. There's at least a bit of comedy in this. Have all joined as founding clubs. It is anticipated that a further 3 clubs will join ahead of the inaugural season, which is intended to commence as soon as practicable. I don't think that's even a word, City. All right, so let me stop there. So there's your 12. Further 3 clubs. Any ideas?
So you said Spurs was in there, right? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so my assumption would be PSG because it makes too much sense. Just because they stand to make a shitload of money.
Yep.
Bayern.
Yeah, they'll want them in there.
And then it would be down to like, did you say Roma?
No Roma.
So I think the last one would be something like a Dortmund, a Roma.
I've heard Dortmund. Yeah.
It's like Dortmund, Roma, like Atletico Madrid, Porto, those kind of things.
We're getting shouts.
Makes a ton of sense. Yeah, Leipzig
shouts in the chat here. Porto.
Oh, Leipzig makes way too much sense.
Anyways, okay, so I'll carry on.
Spencer makes a good point.
Who's that?
Spencer, this one here.
What's he saying?
Yeah. So, Spence, that could be a thing where they hold off until after the World Cup. Anyway, go on.
I'm going to carry on. Going forward, the founding clubs look forward to holding discussions with UEFA and FIFA to work together in partnership to deliver the best outcomes for the new league and for football as a whole. The formation of the Super League comes at a time when the global pandemic has accelerated the instability in the existing European football economic model. Further, for a number of years, the founding clubs have had the objective of improving the quality and intensity of existing European competitions throughout each season, and of creating a format for top clubs and players to compete on a regular basis. I mean, this already exists. Nobody's complaining about the quality of like the Champions League.
Oh, you mean the quality of like teams having to finish high in their own league to get into a competition of teams that finished high in their respective leagues?
Yes.
Yeah, no one's worried about that.
Again, how are you feeling about using the pandemic in this?
I don't understand what how how does COVID make you so you're using the pandemic as an excuse to make more money in one payment than you've ever made in like club history for some of these clubs. How does that how does that have anything to do with anything else?
The people suffering through COVID, how are they benefiting?
Other clubs, look, just look at England. All of the clubs down the table. Go down the pyramid. How is this helping any of that? I mean, there's clubs you've got clubs in administration, you've got clubs that are, just run by dodgy owners and getting run into the ground. You've got clubs that have had to lay people off over and over and over again. And instead you're saying like, well, because of the pandemic, we have to go get a $3.5 billion payment immediately. Sure is tough for the Wiggins of the world, isn't it? Like, I don't get it. Do you mind if I read the Man City official supporters club statement that was a rebuttal to this?
Yeah. Do you want to do any more of cities before we?
Oh yeah, is there more? I haven't read the whole.
Yeah,
I couldn't stand to read the whole thing.
I'll try to summarize here, but I mean, because it gets to a part where it just makes you want to throw up when you see who they quoted in this thing.
Oh, I knew this. I know that. I know who they quote.
All right, competition format: 20 participating clubs with 15 founding clubs, and a qualifying mechanism for a further 5 teams to qualify annually based on achievements in the prior season. Okay, I'm gonna just stop there. So the 15 founding clubs are always in it, not getting relegated. They're always gonna get part of the money involved here. Oh, that's handy. Qualifying mechanism for a further 5 teams based on achievements in the prior season. Okay. So other teams are still trying to get in there, even though once they get in there, they'll never be seen as belonging.
Right.
Right. They're not a founding club, and they're probably not entitled to a fair share of the money for being in that league either, is my assumption. Okay, midweek fixtures with all participating clubs continuing to compete in their respective national leagues, preserving the traditional domestic match calendar. Okay, so that hints at, we already got a midweek competition, Champions League. So something has got to give on the Champions League. So that's where this is headed.
Well, I'm just glad that we're not worried about fixture congestion anymore. So I never want to hear that argument ever brought up to anyone ever again.
No, that's you, Mr. Guardiola.
It's a lie.
Because that's what he's been parroting off about the last week or so in Manchester City history is needed rotation. But never want to hear that again. It wants to start in August. Clubs participating in 2 groups of 10, playing home and away fixtures, with the top 3 in each group automatically qualifying for the quarterfinals. So like a group stage, you finish in the top 3, you go to a playoff. Teams finishing 4th and 5th will then compete in a 2-legged playoff for the remaining quarterfinal positions. 2-leg knockout format after that. Single fixture final. So very Champions League-esque in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to launch a women's league.
Already got that.
Okay.
Like there's already a women's Champions League too. Like there's okay, next.
Economic growth, blah, blah, blah. Long-term commitment to uncapped solidarity payments, which will grow in line with league revenues. Okay, here comes the money.
Uncapped solidarity payments.
Solidarity payments will be higher than those generated by the current European competition, Champions League.
Is that I'm guessing that's probably only to the founding members?
Membership has its privileges.
Sure does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, here comes Florentino Perez, the president of Real Madrid.
The chairman of this.
First chairman of the Super League.
Yep.
Oh, we will help football. I can't do a Perez impersonation, so.
Just sound like a swindler because that's what he's been for years.
I'm trying to look like one. We will help football at every level and take it to its rightful place in the world. Football is the only global sport in the world with more than 4 billion fans. We didn't consult on this.
Yep.
And our responsibility as big clubs is to respond to their desires. Spurs are in that. Sorry, Spurs fans, but some of these clubs are currently not don't belong in this.
Arsenal do not belong in this right now.
No.
They are going to finish outside of the top 7.
All right, I think okay, and this is the kicker, mate. I'll end with this.
Yeah, this is a real.
mancity.com.
Mm-hmm.
The club's statement. Here's a quote from Joel Glazer.
Fucking disgusting.
This is what makes me want to puke, mate. Co-chairman of Man United and vice chairman of the Super League.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to even read what he says. Just know that he said something and City quoted it. And who is City's representative?
We don't have somebody on the board. So the chairman and vice chairman, I know who they are. So it's Florentino Perez is the chairman.
Mm-hmm.
The vice chairman are Mr. Glazer, Mr. Henry from Fenway Sports Group and Liverpool, and then the guy that's in charge at Juventus, who I believe left his position at UEFA this evening. Those are the other. Oh, and Stan Kroenke, the man that owns Arsenal. So the chairman is the guy from Real Madrid. The co-chairmen are United, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Juventus. Agnelli. We don't have. I mean, aside from we probably have a vote.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody in a position of power, it seems.
Okay. What do you want to do? Do you want to do?
Let me read the supporters club thing.
Yeah, please.
All right.
So assume this is from Kevin Parker.
There's not a name on it.
Trust.
It just says it's from the OSC. Hold on, I have to widen this out. Okay, so this is also on mancityosc.com. So this is the official supporters club website for the club. Football supporters will have seen reports in the media that 6 English Premier League clubs, Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Spurs, have agreed to form a breakaway European Super League along with other high-profile European teams. These stories now have been confirmed and do include City, and we are extremely disappointed to have that confirmation. Manchester City FC official supporters club are totally opposed to anything which creates a breakaway European Super League. This proposed new competition has no sporting merit and would seem to be motivated by greed. Furthermore, it has been created without the knowledge or input of any supporters groups, and once again shows those involved have zero regard for the game's traditions. We are determined to fight against this proposed Super League, and will once again work with the 1894 group and all other fan groups to do everything we can to ensure our voices are heard. These owners, irrespective of where they come from, seem to think that football belongs to them. It doesn't. It belongs to us, the supporters, irrespective of which team we support. I mean,
Bravo.
yeah, nail on the head. Yep.
Unconsulted once again. The fans, the supporters clubs, just follow the money, mate. Follow the money.
Can I tell you something that came out that I thought of as soon as this came out? It's just I don't know. It kind of goes along with how, just because I was watching Esteemed Company earlier because he went live after this. Kind of goes along with a feeling that a lot of us have had that are in kind of this line of work and the creator business.
Mm-hmm.
The club doesn't acknowledge any of us. I can't wait for 9320. The club will always refuse to acknowledge them. City Extra, so on and so forth. We have banged the drum for years and have cheerleaded this shit for years. And again, this is all very knee-jerk reaction because we only have a little bit of information. But for the information we do have, and from the outcomes that have been kind of flayed out so far, it's just another like middle finger behind your back as you're walking away type thing, where it's like,
Well,
thanks for coming. Don't let the door hit you on the ass.
This guy's right. I mean, imagine, not just Manchester City and us and our colleagues that do City content, but every single club, up and down. I would imagine Europe. I mean, I need to open my mind a little bit here. I mean, I'm thinking, I'm England focused, right? But like,
the top
there's
two teams
other
in La Liga.
there's other countries that have hundreds of teams that can't be happy with this.
The president of Real Madrid is running this. Barcelona is joining.
Yeah. There is a noisy neighbors of like fucking
all of these. Yeah.
I don't know. Le Havre in France.
Yeah.
The noisy neighbors of Le Havre.
Yeah.
They're live right now. And they're livid as well. Like there's thousands of content creators that are just going to annihilate this idea.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was watching Matt Hayes over at he does a Tottenham Hotspur kind of YouTube show podcast thing.
I've angered him, I'm sure.
Well, actually, I was going to go on his show later this week because we were going to talk about the cup final. I don't know if we're allowed to now. I don't know if the cup final's happening. I don't know if any of us are still in. That's very true, Kyle. Thank you for bringing some positivity to this.
He makes a great point.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with. Yeah, I was watching him, and he was going through it kind of as all this was breaking, and he was, there was a story that came out, or a tweet that came out, that 6 new teams were going to get promoted into the Premier League next year, meaning that 6 teams were going to be booted from the Premier League.
Yep.
Well, it doesn't take a rocket doctor to figure out which 6 teams those are, and he's saying this as a Spurs fan. He's losing his mind, just going, wait, have Spurs just been kicked out of the league? Like, have Spurs just... I mean, even as a Spurs fan who's like, I mean, cool, we stand to make some money from this. Like, he's like, nice, we stand to make some money from this, but at the end of the day, like, have we been kicked? We can never win the Premier League. If we've been kicked out of the Premier League, Spurs can never win it. And he's just like, wait, are we out of the cup? Like, because we have a chance to win the cup. Are we out of the cup too? Because if they kick us out of the Premier League, the FA is not going to be like, yeah, you can chill, you can stay in the league, like in the League Cup. That's not going to. Why would they do that? It's just.
Why couldn't they do? If we're having
why wouldn't you do this in the summer?
If we're having a few jokes here, why didn't we do this before Liverpool won the bloody title?
Seriously though, it seems like there was a chance.
How convenient!
A chance to write this. I honestly don't understand why you wouldn't announce this as soon as the Champions League final ends.
It has to be tied in to UEFA's announcement of the new Champions League arrangement, right? And, again, this may just be politicking, right? Trying to get a better deal out of UEFA for those, let's call them cartel clubs, which we are now a part of, by the way.
Yep.
So
shout out us.
Yeah, so never arguing that bollocks ever again.
Yep, we're in the knot now, so that
spent years arguing that we were on the outside of a cartel. Fucked.
Yep. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
I don't.
Come on, City. What are you doing?
In the chat, I'll tell you my position. Jacob Black, yes. Is there any sort of sympathy for our ownership? Teams we either had to join or get left behind. Neither are ideal. No, I don't have any sympathy for them because they're the richest. We're the richest club on the planet. We don't need the money.
Principles.
We stand to win the Premier League this year. We stand to potentially win the Champions League this year. Now, depending on what happens, this time tomorrow, we could be booted out of both of those things. To kind of bend the knee to Real Madrid, United, Liverpool, and Arsenal is just such a sad state of affairs. And it shows I think it shows everything that maybe we had in the back of our, buried in a deep corner in the back of our minds of like, maybe this is just all for money. Maybe they didn't like. Sure, our owners did a lot of really, really good shit. The rebuild East Manchester and the new facilities for the club, and obviously the on the field success, and they realistically they saved the club when they bought it because Shinrawatra was a crook that didn't have any money.
Yep.
They spent all this money fighting UEFA, fighting FIFA, fighting the Premier League, fighting the FA. All of this money, fighting all of that, to just at the end say, you know what, fuck it. If you can't beat them, join them. I guess we're all pals now. They sliced their hand, they grabbed a playing card or whatever and set it on fire. However the fuck any of that works.
Oh, great point. We joined them. I mean, fucking hell.
I've seen a couple of questions about players. Remains to be seen. I would assume the clubs will have told the players about this, and I assume the clubs will have told those players to shut your fucking mouth, because I haven't seen anything from anybody, any players. So I guess now we see if these players give a shit about, and depending on what the rules end up being and what FIFA ends up actually saying, what UEFA ends up actually saying. Because who knows? Maybe this is just a dick on the table bargaining chip of like, this just takes over it just becomes the UEFA Super League instead of, who knows?
Well, if you were UEFA, mate, and you've heard the fans' reaction, and like you said, there's a very small, a minuscule amount of people that support this from a fan perspective. Would you call their bluff? Would you call the Super League's bluff and say, nobody wants this? I'm not giving you anything better in the Champions League deal. The deal's the deal.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I think UEFA would have to, but then it comes down to the players. So if the players now know that, like, okay, I can't play for my club ever again. Can't win the World Cup. Can't win the Euros. If FIFA bans the players, all right, well, there goes Copa America, there goes Gold Cup. So and AFCON, I mean, every major international tournament now, the top players for those countries won't be in it. So I don't know. I guess the players have some sort of decision to make of, do you boycott? Do you sue the club and try to break your contract? I mean, what even is the alternative? Where do you go? Nobody else can afford you.
I'm not sure what their options are.
All of the rich clubs are in the thing. Nobody else can afford you. You're there. You're just going to one of those teams.
It's another follow the money situation. They'll just, they need to get paid. They'll do what it takes to get paid. I'm hard pressed to figure out the options the players have. That there may be a group that are livid like us that may make some stink, but ultimately, I don't think they have much bargaining power here. What else? What else has the chat got for us? It's great. The chat is really interested in this. We got a question here from Jason Hawley. Forgive my beginner's question, but if allowed and supported by UEFA, love it, and the Premier League, would this still be a bad thing? If supported by UEFA and the Premier League, would this still be a bad thing? Okay, so if it's supported by UEFA and the Premier League, then it would probably look a lot like the Champions League already does.
Yeah. My assumption is that just it would become, instead of the UEFA Champions League, it'd be the UEFA Super League.
Yeah,
but there'd be no. Well, then you run into an issue of it not being a meritocracy, and then that's a whole other problem with this whole deal. Is if you're saying only these clubs are ever in this tournament, if you know you're not going to win the league in your country, why are you playing?
Yes. So
because there's nothing else for you to do.
For folks like Jason, it's that European football already has this sort of elite element to it where it's very difficult to break into, the group of big clubs that make up usually the Champions League, and that the Champions League is where all the money is. So there's already an element of that in football, but this is a new level of exclusivity where really now that Champions League money moves to the Super League, and a certain small number of clubs control all of it, and they control who's in the league, who's out of the league, who gets all the money. It's they're just putting their clamps on all of that revenue involved in a European league, and it becomes at that point almost impossible for new clubs, somebody like a City, 10, 12 years ago, to happen. And there were no longer will there be dreams of clubs being taken over and investment in them to get them to the top table. Almost impossible.
What? Imagine you're an Everton fan right now.
Yeah, a great example.
Everton have just come into a lot of money. They were on the upswing. They were trying to do a City type thing, but on a smaller scale. They brought in a top tier manager. They've been bringing in good players. The whole thing. You can't aspire to be in the Champions League now. Like you can't. There's no point. It's not there. Like it's gonna die. So what do you?
Yeah.
What's the point to do any of this?
It's essentially going to break football into just a group of elite clubs and then the rest. There's an element of that already, but this is like cementing it.
Right. Yeah, and again, this is like I have to keep trying to ground everything in like we don't know shit. None of us know shit. Mm-hmm. All we know is that like the statements the clubs have put out sound gross.
Yep.
All of the news that comes out sounds gross. So everything's kind of painted with a bleak kind of paintbrush here, but it's really tough to think positively about what this could mean, because it just seems like if UEFA or if domestic FAs take a stance against these clubs, I think that's the biggest thing. If domestic FAs start taking a stance against the clubs that have joined this Super League because they've left like the European Club Association, if they do that, you could see the death of Serie A. You could see the death of La Liga. You could see the death of, England will roll on, but it'll never be the same again because you just won't have. Yeah. Come on, you Wounds. You'll just never have the same. You'll never like if the English FA were to take a stance against these 6 clubs and like boot them out of the Premier League, you don't get any more like top tier London derbies in the Premier League. You don't get a Manchester derby in the Premier League. You don't get a Merseyside derby in the Premier League. United and Liverpool only happens twice a year, I guess, and it's in this Super League thing, and it's on like a Tuesday. When if you're here, everyone's at work. If you're anywhere but England or Europe, you can't watch it, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense for people that are saying this is a thing for the global fans or whatever.
I don't know. Maybe it points to a compromise, mate, because I don't know. Can the Premier League survive without those 6 teams? I mean, you're talking about we don't have any fans, but some of the other clubs do. But I'm hoping that somebody. I mean, we've already said it. The fans of these other clubs feel the same way we do. So, maybe we're all West Ham fans after this. Maybe we're Oldham Athletic fans.
Honestly, I think if this just shook out the way that, like, if this shook out in a doomsday scenario, I don't know. I'd probably just watch domestic soccer.
Yeah.
I don't actually think it's going to shake out in a horrible doomsday scenario like that, because it does seem kind of unfathomable that like all of the European leagues would just come crumbling down. world soccer would just be flipped over. But if it did come down to just some absolute nightmare of a situation, then yeah, I don't know. I guess I just take the last 20 something years of my life, flush them down the toilet, and then I go to my local 4th tier American team that can never get promoted because of how our system's set up, and I'll watch.
What are they called? So what's
Cleveland SC?
Just trying to figure out what the name of our new podcast is.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm wearing a Dallas Burns shirt right now.
Look at us.
I was gonna
we're really sticking it to him, aren't we?
I was gonna throw a Texas Tech soccer up there, or just like a I have a Jameson scarf.
I took my shit down
just for the show.
Yeah, took it down.
It'll be back up.
Going full on Oldham Athletic for this. Until what?
I don't know. What if
until they're in the Super League?
Well, what if what if decent news ends up coming out of all this?
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah, we're having a bit of fun with it, aren't we? Yeah. We have to keep from crying, I think. Yeah, emotionally, mate. There's a big part of being a City fan that just disappeared, just like that, and that is the whole fighting for the club's name. I mean, some would suggest we were on thin ground to begin with, right?
Yeah.
But certainly, I've been, maybe I've partaken in a lot of whataboutism. When fingers get pointed at our club for, stuff about our owners. I like to make sure they know that their owners aren't squeaky clean either. So, but now, what's the point?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll never try to stand on high moral ground now.
No.
I'll just be like, oh yeah, well, guess we are scumbags.
Yeah, but no matter what happens,
sometimes bad guys are cool. Well,
like Darth Vader,
Rick Rude,
right? Obviously, wrestling. Yeah,
I can't think of a scenario where other bad guys are cool other than professional wrestling.
Villains are good sometimes.
Batman,
Joker, the Joker,
the guy that blew up a hospital.
Yeah, but he
blew it up as a joke.
If you've seen the new one, new Joker, he's more likable. He's more likable.
Isn't he just like an edgy douche?
Well, he's got some mental things going on. So, yeah, see, Franklin knows what's up.
Joker from
the Dark Knight. The new Joker.
Joker from the Dark Knight is the one that blew up a hospital.
Just don't worry about that. Just forget that.
Just for the record, Mulv was pro or thinks it's cool to blow up a hospital.
Yeah. And slam a pencil through somebody's brain. Remember that?
Dope move.
Oof.
Dope move.
Oof.
Good bad guy move.
Mm-hmm.
Very much cheating.
So what's been threatened, mate? What have and help us out in the chat. What has been threatened by the Premier League, other leagues, point deductions?
Yeah.
So relegations. What
the things I've seen so far? Very few confirmed. I don't even remember which ones were confirmed and which ones weren't. So the one that's been confirmed and then debunked immediately was Champions League and Europa League have been suspended.
Oh, that's not true.
That hasn't happened yet, I guess.
Okay.
I guess Lamarca and somebody else said that was, and then it has since come out that it hasn't been yet. But there's also these stories that all of these clubs have left the European Club Association. So I can't envisage a scenario in which they're not in the European Club Association, but they're fighting for the top trophy in Europe. It doesn't make none of that makes any sense for me. You could see relegations happening. I could see, Johnny Laura, their exit from the Premier League. Clubs who want to enter back in the Premier League have to enter in the 5th division. I think that is a threat that was floating around out there. Obviously, players and clubs banned from any UEFA or FIFA competition has been thrown around. I mean, those are some pretty heavy hitters. that you could be booted from your domestic league, and you could be booted from playing in any international match is just nuts.
All right. Our enemy is now our friend.
I'm a Man United fan, so embarrassing. Hope we are kicked out of all our competition. Surely we can't do this and then go on winning those cups like the league, Champions League, and Europa League. Yeah. I mean, is this when is this like when Hulk Hogan and Randy Macho Man Savage like shook?
Yeah.
Like, whoa!
Yeah. Come
Oh,
on, brother.
I have to go this way. Oh yeah. Listen here, you wait for we're gonna take all the money. Take it right to the tippy top.
Get in. All right, United fans in the chat. Love it.
This is it's even so okay. So say let's go down a very dark rabbit hole here. Say we get booted out of say all of these clubs get booted out of the Premier League. So can you claim like can you even brag about like hell yeah, dude, we won the Premier League X amount of times, and this goes for any club because it's like yeah, but then you also made it so you got kicked out because you were such a shithead. Like congrats on winning everything, but you were such a douche that they were like, leave, please go, don't come back.
Oh dear. All right.
So like, are we all green and gold until we're sold now, or how does that work?
Hate Glazers, love United, innit?
Golly.
Come on, Manchester, la la la.
What's oh shit, I don't know. I should have put a Grimsby shirt on. Fish will never let me down.
Nope.
God damn. So yeah. Fun Sunday evening. I built a smoker. I bought a smoker today.
Did you?
Yeah, I put that together, and then I came in the house, and then my phone went wild, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Everything.
Yeah, world getting turned upside down.
Yeah. I had a couple of phone calls where I got quite hot.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so like you and I were texting, so we have to go live. We've got to get this off our chests. Gaz Brady wants a breakaway CFG league. We could do it. We could do it.
We would crush. Was it Yokohama F Marino?
Talking about awarding yourselves a prize money. Brilliant.
Yeah. This whole thing's weird. If you haven't already, I guess like the video and subscribe to the channel. I don't know.
Yeah, all of that.
Sure. What are you guys doing this evening? I'm gonna. What are we missing on the chat? Even Jesus Christ!
I actually feel a lot better having shouted a bit on YouTube.
Yeah, yelling at the internet usually helps.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are pretty funny. Yeah, I really do hope a lot of this is just knee-jerk shit. Just knee-jerk shit, politicking stuff. It just seems such a weird move and weird timing if you're trying to get more money out of like anyone, really. Like no one's got any money. No one's got extra money to roll around except for whoever the hell is funding this thing. Because the number that's thrown out there is $3.5 billion to every single club that starts this thing up. I don't know where $42 billion comes from. Like who's
Heineken?
Yeah, how are you
the Champions League sponsors?
Yeah, how like I don't understand where that funding comes from. DAZN? DAZN, that's why they've been paying all the podcasts.
Manscaped.
Sons of bitches.
I'm going to take these boxer briefs off right now.
Do it on stream. You might get more views.
Yeah, that'll really stick it to them.
Yeah, I'll have to switch this over to OnlyFans.
Ooh-wee. That's where the money's at.
We might have to start OnlyFans now. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seeing as City fucks us.
Yeah, we got to get Oldham and Grimsby some money somehow. So
Shout out. Yeah, fish. Do.
wow.
Man.
So
Oh,
you were
JP
talking about
Morgan's
the
paying for
timing in
this?
that.
Huh.
You're talking about the timing. I was talking about, does UEFA dig their heels in now because, the entire football fan base is behind them.
Mhm.
I can only assume that there's already been posturing behind the scenes. Once again, a lot of these people involved in the Super League also work at UEFA, or these clubs are heavily represented at UEFA. So I can only assume that there's been a lot of posturing going around already and weight being thrown around. And for them to come out and actually announce it the way they did,
In the middle of the night.
I wonder if UEFA have already sort of put their foot down and said,
Yeah.
nah, not doing this, lads.
Yeah.
Put your statement out and watch for the reaction. And every stupid podcast in the world goes live.
Yeah.
And
We just make YouTube a lot of money. Shit,
Yeah.
if it's JP Morgan, don't they own Chase? I think I'm with Vic. I might have to change my bank. Shit.
Adnan spoke about the Gary Neville rant, which he's
the best.
Yeah, he's been great.
That's another reason that like this is fucking sideways.
Yeah,
everyone in the world's like, Gary Neville's pretty smart.
When you got a club man turning on their club
and saying it was disgusting and disgraceful and all that shit.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow. Yeah, it's this is a good question actually. So the news broke, I think, around 6:30 our time, maybe my time. So that would have been 6:30 in the evening. But still, it's overnight, middle of the night for these clubs. Like, who cares? Who cares if we're awake for it? Most of us, like most people in America, aren't watching the sport, let alone just these individual clubs. So again, very, very strange move to be like, all right, middle of the night. City, the cowards, wouldn't even put it on Twitter. They just put it on.
Shout out Joe.
Go ahead. For it.
Shout out Joe Butterfield, who put them on Front Street.
He hit him with a C-bomb.
Great tweet. Yeah. Proper. Like, sometimes the C-bomb is overused. Hands up. But the proper use. Absolutely, Joe. Well done.
Well, nothing says you believe in what you're doing more than, especially as a massive worldwide brand, nothing says you believe in it more than be like, we're just going to put it on the website and not going to tweet it out.
Yeah.
Actually, guys, let's not put this on social media. All right. We don't need hits for this. We're not trying to get clicks. Please, no retweets. Do anything you can to make sure it's not. Is there a function we can make it not retweetable?
Who's this? John S. Is that John Siegley?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. Well, on one hand, we're seeing history be erased, or I don't know, maybe things are being confined to history. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
On the other, our club is now considered to be in the elite of the elite. Okay. Yeah, but we never wanted to be that.
Well, we never
wanted to be.
I think we wanted to be the elite of the elite in terms of we won a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I think what we didn't want to be is as big a scumbag as the rest of the clubs.
Didn't want to get in as part of like a fraternity or like a boys club sort of thing.
The whole point was we were gonna like break the glass ceiling and shake shit up a little bit, and then we got there and we're like, so you guys always just get. Are these waitresses always here? Like, the booze is just free. They just bring you booze. Is this real leather? Are these chairs leather? This ain't so bad. Spencer, maybe we do buy into this thing.
Tranquilo, Spencer. I don't think Siegs means it in a negative way.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the weirdest.
We've accepted Palpatine's invitation.
For real, dude.
Star Warsy. Let's get Star Warsy, mate.
Our club is run by Jar Jar Binks. That's what's happening. That's what's going on here. Is that we had a guy like everyone's like, those guys from Naboo are fighting pretty hard. Who's this new guy that got in card? I don't know. He talks real weird. I don't know if he's smart, but he's he seems to know what he's doing. And then we just shake hands with the worst person in the universe. Great.
Bryce N or Bryson? Can you explain the playoff concept? Tell us what you mean, mate. Do you mean how do the 5 teams who are not founders get in, or are you talking about how the 2 groups of 10 then meet in a playoff to win the Super League? Which do you mean? Okay.
Man.
We've got a dissenter.
Go on.
City has fought for so many years to enter the elite of the elite. Now that we are kind of here, we are hating it. It seems super counterintuitive, in my opinion. Ooh, okay. It's a little bit what we were saying before. Like, yes, we've made our way to the top table, but it wasn't how we wanted to do it. We wanted to do it.
It's not where we are. It's how we got there.
Okay, so a couple things going on here, right? Things that distinguished us from other clubs previously, and that is that when leagues like the Premier League and the Champions League were formed, we weren't a part of that. And those clubs that founded those competitions structured them in a way that they would more often than not win the prize money from those things. Now, have we benefited from massive investment? Yes, but so have most of all those other clubs, if not all of them, at some point during their history. They've had massive investment, the same way City have. So in that regard, we were never the same as those clubs, but now we are. Now we have now we're in cahoots with a cartel of clubs to become part of a league that is closed for all intents and purposes and awards itself prize money. And that we've always wanted to be outside of that. But now that ship has sailed. So yes, we're part of the elite, but not now, not how we wanted to do it.
This is me. Kendrick, 100%. That's what I wanted. I wanted us to beat UEFA at their own game, hoist the trophy in the air as a giant FU. UEFA tried for years and years and years to stop City from everything, really. So if we would have won the Champions League, finally, it would have been a massive just middle finger to everything that they've tried to do to us. And instead, what it looks like is that we're just going to go start, like you said, we're going to go start a closed competition. I think that's the thing that probably riles everybody up the most, is that I could really kind of give a shit if it's what the name of it is. If it's the UEFA Champions League or the UEFA Super League, doesn't really matter to me. I think the thing is that we're leaving a competition that is merit based to go start a competition that merit matters none.
Zero.
And that is wild behavior. Really for any of the clubs involved. And it's especially wild behavior for the clubs that weren't going to be in the Champions League to begin with. To just be like, we're just going to buy our way into this thing.
Yep.
Man,
and it's not only about City, is it? I mean, once again, we already have massive separation between the haves and have-nots in football, and this just absolutely is the death nail, isn't it? I mean, at least there's hope that a team can get taken over by a rich investor and climb the ranks of the football league. But now no investor is going to be interested in buying those clubs or investing in those clubs, because there's no end game, there's no dream, you're not going to get in there. So those clubs will never see large investment from businessmen. They might see it from massive fans of the club right? That want to spend some money on a club that they love, but nobody who, is a neutral is going to want to spend money on a club that cannot reach
Yeah.
a league where all the money is.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest question mark in all of this for me is what happens with these clubs and their domestic leagues. Because, so say, I don't know how the hell this would work, but say the 5 teams invited will not make near the same amount of money as the founding. Of course they wouldn't. Of course they wouldn't, because that's how it works. Yeah, come on in. We'll pay you. Not as much as we're getting, but we'll pay you. If the say the Champions League stays around and say the Super League thing happens and say none of these clubs get booted from their domestic leagues. All right. So if you are a club that finishes in the top 4, but you're a member of the Super League, who does your Champions League spot go to? And do like all of the like the like right now England has 4 Champions League spots. That can't stay if 6 teams are leaving for another competition. Like you're not going to have, because you don't want, if our 4 teams are like Leicester, Wolves, West Ham, and Everton, not a ton of disrespect to all those teams, but a little bit, like you're not none of those teams would have been the champion if all 6 of the clubs are allowed to stay in England. You look at Italy, Juve, Inter, AC Milan. Juve have won every title for the last 17 years or some shit like that. Inter's going to win it this year. AC Milan, who have money kind of, but also are coming off of some FFP damage. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I guess they're going to make a ton of money out of this, but I mean, if you get booted out of Serie A, AC Milan probably gets slapped around by most of the teams that are joining the Super League thing. I don't know. I don't see. I guess the money is enough that these clubs don't care if they're just dragged through the mud and get slapped around every Tuesday and Wednesday, because that's eventually how it's going to end up. There are going to be teams that are in the Super League and that are founding members of the Super League that just get dunked on the field every week, but they got a cool $3.5 billion in the pocket. So whatever. Yeah. It's so crazy.
The rich stay rich,
man. Oh man.
It just feels like shit, mate. It feels.
Yeah. And again, I just keep there is a chance that all of this is just wild speculation.
Yeah. Spencer again. Do we cheer the Champions League anthem? See, this is where I'm confused now. I'm confused because I've been a UEFA hater for too long. And again, hard to distinguish between UEFA and the Super League folks because a lot of them are the same clubs and the same people. So I'm getting my head hurts a little bit with where I need to direct my anger towards, but
right, because some of the people that ran UEFA also run some of these clubs that are starting this thing.
Yep.
And the guy Agnelli that runs Juventus, he's already left his position at UEFA. So it's all right, not only we're just joining, we're literally just joining up with the people that tried to screw us. It's unbelievable. MLS Europe is about to go off. True. It's going to be like when NFL Europe tried to go over there. Oh, man.
Okay. Well, have we done? We did an hour, mate. I got a lot off my chest.
Okay.
I think we've run the gamut. Thank you. Of thoughts on this. I'm sure more will come to us afterwards, and we'll have plenty of material for future podcasts and live streams.
Yeah.
So what shall we say to these folks?
Yeah. Are we still doing a podcast tomorrow? I mean, we got
to talk about that disaster from
do we?
I'd rather not, but
okay, are we even in that tournament? Is that tournament? Are they even in that tournament anymore?
Right.
Yeah. I subscribe to the channel. We'll keep doing this, I guess.
Yeah.
Like the video if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get notifications. Also, if this is your first time seeing us, I guess we also do a podcast, so you can find that on pretty much anywhere you get podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, the whole thing. Noisy Neighbors Podcast over there, at NoisyPod on Twitter, noisypod.com. If you want to buy some swag. Oh, Christ. I think that's it, man. Oh, if you want to support the show for $1 a month, you can go to patreon.com/noisypod. So, yeah. Until next time, everybody. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.